What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? It is Steven here, and in today's stream, we're just going to do a preview of the conference championship. Wow, that was a riveting divisional playoff round. Some say the best divisional playoff game round of all time. We saw some of the best quarterbacks step up to the plate. We saw some teams that really should maybe not be there, like the 49ers, make it all the way to the conference championship. Ton of stuff to get into today. I'm excited for it. Definitely jump in the chat while we're out here tonight. Just going to be me. John's not here. So definitely jump in the chat. We'll be chatting it up all night long, talking about not only last week's games, we're going to get into some conference championship, obviously. Going to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on today. A lot of stuff going on today, actually. It was pretty busy NFL day. A lot of buzz going on. A-Rod's already making things dramatic. You know how he does. But hey, Tom Brady's making things dramatic too. So it's fun. I love to see that the NFL is not taking a off day, just like we don't take an off day at the Catch. I'll tell you what, guys, I had an interesting day today, man. You ever wake up and you just feel like, whoa, is this really going on? Is it only Tuesday? Really? That's how I felt today. Let me know as well how you guys are feeling. Ronald, what's up, dude? How are you doing? Thank you for sending me that note, Ronald, in the Discord. Definitely getting more up to speed with Discord, guys. If you were listening to this and you are not already a part of the Discord, hit that link below and join, become a part of the Catch fam down there. Great way to communicate, great way to kind of get to know each other more. We got a ton of different avenues of things we talk about. Shoot, we even talk about basketball sometimes, right? So definitely get down there. Ronald, thank you for letting me know the best way to kind of get out alerts to you guys. Definitely something I'll keep in mind going forward too. But some of the things I wanted to talk about today are, starting with that recap part, right? I mean, holy smokes, that was a fun one. I think the best place to probably start is that Bengals game. I mean, that was a game. All right, so just to let you know up front, right? I bet on the Bengals winning, and I bet on the Chiefs winning, but I had the Bills plus like 7.5, right? So it just hit, right? So it was like the one day my betting actually goes well. John and I's picks actually for the first time like really kind of hit the bed together. We both kind of just kind of went out of luck. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers kind of screwed us, so that was unfortunate. I feel terrible for Spencer, man. What happened to your guys, dude? A-Rod let us down. I can't help but think that maybe Aaron Rodgers had 1 foot in, 1 foot out in that game. He looked like he was, I don't know, just maybe sluggish. I mean, the way he was coming up to the line of scrimmage. I mean, Ronald, did you think that he was bringing a whole lot of energy? Because I didn't really see a whole lot in that game. I mean, people, that might be actually a good game to start off with. Let's talk about this Packers 49ers game. We knew kind of coming into it, it was going to be one where the Niners kind of had their MO, right? The Niners have historically owned Aaron Rodgers. It's funny because coming out of the draft, Aaron Rodgers was quoted to say, they're going to remember for a long time something along the lines to the extent of like the fact that they didn't draft me, right? Basically talking shit about the 49ers. And if you look at it now, guys, the only one who's really hurting from that matchup is definitely A-Rod. He's just been a cold sore against those guys forever. But yeah, A-Rod, they were the heaviest favorites in those divisional round matchups. And that's what was probably so unfortunate about it. It's not like the 49ers, to my analysis, really did anything that great, right? It was really weird. I mean, the Niners, they did their best at trying to really establish a ground game. It didn't really seem like it was that strong of a foothold for me. Deebo Samuel was doing his normal thing, but they kind of limited him to a certain extent. Banged up too. Deebo got banged up. George Kittle got banged up. I really hope the 49ers didn't kind of exhaust their entire resources prior to this Rams game because, man, that was a snowy one. That was a cold one. Lambeau Field definitely brought out the full force of that home weather effect. And the 49ers, yeah, they got beat up for sure, but they were able to withstand the punishment, lock down the Packers offense. I mean, that first drive, I remember getting a text from my dad because A-Rod, Packers, they're moving quick. They're running right down the field. It was a perfect drive. I mean, you couldn't ask for much more out of the Packers for that opening drive. They score it, cap it off with that A.J. Dillon touchdown. I'm sure there was a lot of people who had bet on A.J. Dillon first touchdown score and paid off well there. And then right after that, it was like they couldn't do anything. And then from there, the 49ers didn't really get their feet wet anywhere. But special teams, man. Packers all year long were one of the worst teams in the special teams department. By the way, just got to take a quick note and look in my hair right now. I look like the kid from Home Alone. Mikhail Kalkin look-alike right here, except he's not with Mila Kunis. Wow, this is intense. How do you guys like the new haircut? Let me know. Let me know. Um, but yeah, that special teams came up big. Packers struggled in that department all year long. 49ers were good at that area. And I mean, for me too, personally, this also speaks to a certain extent that Kyle Shanahan outcoached LaFleur. You could say that Shanahan's kind of had the best of him throughout his career too. Sometimes coaching does really kind of make the big difference in the playoffs. We've definitely seen that before. Ronald, I'm going to get to your comments right now because I got to give credit to you. You were like the only person I knew that called the 49ers on this. I was off the Niners like hot rice on a salad with turkey, right? I had no business with the 49ers in that game. Let's see what you're putting in here. Let's see here. That's his childhood team, some sort of a mental thing. Yeah, I do think that does carry some weight. I feel like A-Rod, if anything, is probably one of the more emotional guys in the game. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was more of a mental element to it. I also think that some teams are built better to beat other teams, right? You've seen that in the past, but I think the 49ers are maybe, I think they've established the fact that they are built to beat A-Rod and to build to beat the Packers, even though I thought from top down was definitely the best in the game. Let's see here. But if you look at the 49ers were crashing the line, he was just getting screens off. Once they adjusted to the screen game, they had nothing, but they were in his face all game. Yeah, they were. I mean, dude, Bosa was a loose cannon, man. He was all over the place. I mean, it was kind of one of the first games we saw A-Rod not trust what was around him in a while. I mean, A-Rod obviously has come out and talked shit about his, teammates to a certain extent by saying he needs more resources around him. But for the first time in a long time, it felt like this was a game where Aaron Rodgers wasn't comfortable with the pieces. You saw him hyper targeting Devontae Adams, and whenever he went to Adams, it was pretty successful. There was the one notable play though where Adams and Norman matched up. Adams going on kind of a go route, and Rogers totally misses him. And it's funny because John and I were talking shit about Josh Norman to a certain extent and saying like he's got no way of hanging with him. And man, Norman kind of made us look bad because Norman did his job. He hung with Adams, and sometimes the best way to keep up with a superstar receiver like a Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson is really to get up in your face, to get dirty with you. And that's what Josh Norman does. Josh Norman loves to get up in your face and talk shit and just be in your ear all game long. So I think that probably was going on too. But man, not a way for the Packers to want to end their season. Way more question marks than answers. I mean, Ronald, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen with A-Rod already coming out, kind of just basically saying he's not going to be there? He started off by saying, basically, instead, this is my biggest beef with A-Rod, with how he handled the post-game talks, right? You see how Tom Brady handled it, comes out here and says like, "Hey, I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about right now. Gonna be with my teammates." And like we just lost a playoff game, and I had a lot of like he had full stake in that playoff game. Aaron Rodgers comes out and obviously the media clipped it up a bit, but he comes out and basically says like, not trying to be a part of a rebuild next year. And so what does that do? That okay, well, that single-handedly talks shit about the roster, talks shit about what the front office is doing, and kind of spells doubt and gets the mind off of the season that you guys just had and makes me think like if I'm a teammate, like was your head even in the game, right? I think that's just like a pure, like that's a perfect way to just say that when you look at the comparison between Tom Brady and A Rod, the leadership is just on two different wavelengths. And it always has been. And I think that's maybe somewhere where maybe Aaron Rodgers has struggled in his career is really being able to take that next step because we can talk up and down about how maybe they should have invested more at the receiver position, or what else they could have done. Bottom line is this guy had maybe the best receiver in the business over the past 5+ years. Before that, he had Jordy Nelson, who was a great receiver, but he's never really consistently elevated the guys around him in the most important time of the year, which is the playoffs. Um, so yeah, I got some beef with A-Rod on that. And then of course he comes out today and he says that it's going to happen before free agency. He'll do it well ahead of time. It'll be a quicker decision than later. Just for out of respect of the organization, he says it on Pat McAfee's show, and that's cool. That's cool by A-Rod, right? Do the right thing, get out ahead of it. Um, don't leave these guys in the air, like kind of like you did the past year and a half. So I do respect that, and that's why I do kind of see that this is probably a situation where he's out the door. And we'll talk more about kind of where he'll be for sure. Interesting. So Ronald in the chat saying that he thinks going back to the Packers, we have a Brett Favre situation, but if he leaves, I think he goes to Denver. Yeah, I mean, I guess with the Brett Favre situation, I guess you had a better quarterback in the waiting. First off, well, no discredit to Jordan Love. I guess we don't know truly yet, right, how good he's going to be, but it hasn't looked great so far, right? Hasn't looked great so far. I love Denver as a chance. I think they're the odds-on favorite right now to land him. I know Pittsburgh's in there. 49ers, or I think they just got randomly thrown in there. Also, just so happens that Indianapolis is in the equation too. Do I think that happens? No way in hell. But it's cool that we got in there. I think it's more of anything to do with the fact that he talks to Pat McAfee a lot, not actually that he's going to go to Indy. I think when I look at A-Rod, him and his wife, who's an entertainer, actress, I think he wants to be West Coast. He's also from the West Coast. I think his personality and just kind of like his air about him, I think he's kind of wants to be over there. And also, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if like Vegas comes into the equation too. That doesn't surprise me at all. Thanks, Jane, for coming in here and saying girlfriend. I am historically known to always confuse the two in casual conversation. Let's see, Ronald, what you got in here? I think he's going back to the Packers. All right, cool. He just wants the attention, and he's trying to force the GM to spend money on players to keep him. That's his way of saying, if you don't sign Adams, I am out. He's full of shit. He will definitely leave them in the air. Yeah, man. I mean, he is full of shit. And this isn't an episode to just kind of talk shit about Aaron Rodgers. But he does have kind of some issues with the GM, obviously, and the front office at large. I think it's more of a power move than anything. I mean, Devontae Adams coming back, right? Unless he has like kind of a hostile takeover, which I don't think is really in his cards. Um, he can get franchise tagged and he'll be back. I mean, and Devontae Adams was like outspoken to say earlier in the season that, growing up the way he did, if somebody, is going to give him the money and he can like, I guess, like support his family and be in a good situation financially, he's not going to turn that down. So I actually think that Devontae Adams will take money where it's given, but he's going to want to be compensated as the number one receiver in the game, which he deserves. He definitely deserves that. He has proved that year over year now. And it'll be kind of cool to see if these guys split up, like how he will play without him. But with all that said, man, wild game, Packers getting upset. Definitely, I think a lot of people had them kind of cued in as the Super Bowl winner. So that was the biggest upset of the playoffs for sure. Other game that happened that same day, Bengals Titans. This was, another really good one. I feel like the people said this was like the best playoff round we've ever seen. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. But also, I mean, when you look at that game and you look at a couple other games, it's like three quarters of the games actually sucked, and the very ending was really cool. In this one, that was kind of the case as well. I mean, both teams weren't really lighting it up. Money Mac, Evan McPherson for the Bengals is a badass dude. The quote that Joe Burrow put out there that he said were basically did his practice kick and said, "All right, we're going to the conference championship from 50 yards out as a rookie." I mean, I saw a video get released of Money McPherson coming out and saying, or no, doing practice kicks at Florida and just like nailing like the top off of a Gatorade bottle on top of like a field goal post. Like the guy's ridiculous. Like could be one of the young goats at the kicker position in the future, and I can't wait to have him on all my kicker videos in the future too. The guy's a beast. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, Joe Burrow gets sacked 9 times, 9 times, gets the win, hung in there, pure moxie. This Bengals team, I think, is really the darling, the underdog, the team that's, playing with everything to win, nothing to lose. Joe Burrow, comes out and says he's sick of the underdog narrative. I actually think that was a mistake, man. Stop feeling yourself. I mean, obviously, you guys already feel yourself. It's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but I think this underdog thing is like one of the things that's getting you through these games. I thought Tennessee really kind of shit the bed in the sense that they forced Derrick Henry into the game. Um, he didn't look 100% healthy, obviously. Thought Deontay Foreman actually outplayed him in that game. He had that really big run that was really impressive. Um, that AJ Brown dominated, 150 yards touchdown. Really was the true bright spot for the passing game. Got to be questions around Ryan Tannehill in the future if he's ever going to really be able to be that guy to get you to the Super Bowl. Um, if I'm Mike Vrabel, I mean, I think he did the right thing by coming up and kind of defending his quarterback, but there's got to be questions. I'm keeping and I'm going to keep diving more and more into these quarterback prospects coming out of the draft, and not anybody that's going to really change your team out of these guys, but there are dudes that are going to be like the second, third round that I think you could get in there and like would probably push Tannehill. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans did something like that. Ronald, what you saying in here, my guy? Appreciate you in here, Ronald. By the way, I'd love to see you in the chat. Was looking forward to actually talking to you tonight because I thought you'd have some good opinions on these games. I guess everything right, but the Bills with 13 seconds. What the fuck? Yeah, man, dude. I knew you were gonna be hurting about that Bills game. And I'm looking forward to talking about that one with you. We're gonna go over that one next. Um, I love the Bengals, but I think experience takes it and Chiefs win. I think Andy is going to come play game plan Burrow. 49ers and Rams are more of a toss up, but I think with the Rams actively tied to lose a game and the 49ers came together to win the game, I will take the 49ers. So 49ers Chiefs rematch. Yeah, I like that too. I got the Chiefs winning personally, which I'm going to get into as well. Um, I actually like the Rams a little bit more. But I will say this, man, the argument that you're putting is this kind of a similar argument to what you did last week, and it worked out for you. And I'm not totally convinced quite yet. I feel like the conversations we have tonight might shape it a little bit, but right now, my gut instinct is the Rams. I think it might just be Sean McVay, Matt Stafford's year. Cooper Cup, I just think different kind of beast this year. Um, and I don't know, man. I mean, the 49ers are a great team. They do seem to have Sean McVay's kind of system down a little bit. They just seem to kind of own him. But I just think that 49ers team, too, like, I feel like they've gone as far as they can go. Got banged up, like I said, in that last game. Um, And I don't know. I'm excited to talk about that one. Let's wrap up this Bengals one so we can get over to that one actually. Um, Last thing I want to say on this Bengals game, recap wise, when I saw Joe Burrow, instantly thought about Andrew Luck. This guy's already got serious knee injuries, already a banged up QB. Uh, Such a young, promising stud. As an Indy fan, I just would hate to see something similar to him happen that happened to Andrew Luck. As a group, the Bengals do need to invest heavily in the offensive line. Do not make the mistake the Indianapolis Colts made by getting their quarterback banged up. And that is my only thing I have to say to the Bengals because I don't think you wasted the pick on Jamar Chase, but you gotta do that. You got to invest in the O line. Spencer, what's up, brother? How you doing, my guy? How you doing, my guy? We already talked about the Packers, so you don't have to worry about it. We already talked about them. We don't have to go back and rehash that sadness. But let me know your takeaway from that game. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? Let me know what your thoughts are on A Rod. What's going to happen with him? 49ers and Rams are a toss up, but I think with the Rams, okay. Ronald, though Andy has a long history of championship games losing. Yes, he does. Andy Reid, I feel like ever since though Andy Reid got paired up with Mahomes, it's been a little bit different. I feel like Andy Reid and Mahomes, it's been kind of a reawakening to Reid's career. It's not been like a Donovan McNabb or Alex Smith situation. I mean, Mahomes can kind of elevate the coaching scenario. Um, Spencer, sup, buddy? Rogers either retiring, coming back. He said so on PMS today. Do you really think so? Do you really? I don't even care what he says, to be honest. You really think? All right, I could see him retiring. Maybe I could see him retiring. But do you think he's going back to Green Bay? I just don't see that happening, man. I really don't see him coming back. I know you want that to happen, but there's just too many other opportunities out there. I don't think that are better than Green Bay. I think Green Bay is the best team possible for him, but I just don't see him coming back to Green Bay. He ain't leaving. He can't get away from the fame in Green Bay. He's like a god there. Yeah, he's a god there, but I mean, also too, like, do you think the fans are at any point gonna start getting a little butthurt by the situation? Like, I already heard like there were like bars and people, you know, some local bars in Milwaukee and some bars out there in Green Bay were like talking shit about A-Rod, and local fans were kind of getting over the diva of Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, how many years in a row do you just like keep letting a quarterback who doesn't really seem like he wants to be there? And I mean, like that is the clear difference for me with A Rod and Brett Favre is that like Brett Favre was like everything to this organization. He was like everything to the fans. He was everything to the ownership. Aaron Rodgers, like, I feel like with how long he had to wait with Brett Favre, like, how much of that is it like resentment with him? Like, he'll never truly feel like he is the guy there. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. Does that hold any weight? Like, is he still bitter about the fact that Brett Favre was there for a while and the fact that A Rod was a later draft pick? Like, I don't know. It just seems like Aaron Rodgers, I would probably place money he's going to be out the door. But man, yeah, I do kind of hope I personally hope he stays in Green Bay because I like the Packers a lot. Childhood favorite team actually. Before when I first started watching football, the Packers were my favorite team until I started to get to know more of the game, and that's when I shifted over to Indy. But I mean, Brett Favre, the Packers, that's like everything I know football wise. Spencer, not at all the bars I've been to. LOL. Yeah, yeah. I guess you're right. I mean, there's probably a majority of the dudes who are just wanting to win some ball games. How are the bars in Green Bay? By the way, are they fun? Are they a good time? I feel like there's some rowdy people out there. I feel like it's like I feel like when I think about like the bars out there, it's like the same kind of people that you would get like in a Philly bar. Like they would be like all about their sports. Like they would just be so invested in whatever team was on. Like I feel like you got the Bucks in Milwaukee, and I feel like Giannis is a god down there. I mean, you got the Packers, obviously. I mean, big sports town, right? I feel like the bars are sweet. Ronald, but you still want him to be the quarterback. McNabb was a dick too, and I still wanted him to be my quarterback. Yeah, I guess it's weird too because when I think about like being a Colts fan, like we've either had dog shit quarterbacks or like Peyton or Andrew, who were like the nicest guys in the world. But most teams kind of have to deal with like kind of a diva asshole at quarterback at some point. Um, Tom Brady was a little bit different. Like he was like everybody's nemesis as an opposing team. But I mean, like, dude, I mean, there were guys probably willing to sacrifice their first child for Tom Brady. I mean, gosh, Patriots fans probably still missing him. Let's see here. Steven, what's good? Yo, what is up, Kyle? How you doing, my guy? John, I was kid. Yeah, he will be on at some point soon. Hopefully, John gets back on here sometime. We can do a podcast together, do episode together. Um, but be kind of on his time frame. Probably just be me for a little bit. Um, Godspeed to my boy John, my brothers in arms. But yeah, that's why I really do appreciate when you guys are out here too, because um, I'm just for your context as well. I'm still kind of getting my background set up going during my streams. John will have the Madden going sometimes, which is good. For me, I got to stare at my face right now. So I'm just staring at my weird face that looks like again like the Home Alone kid. But yeah, so that's why I do appreciate when you guys are out here. um, and I'm pretty ADD, pretty ADHD, so I can talk for a while. I can talk for a really long while. Wisconsin has the most bars per capita in the US. That's actually nuts. That's an interesting stat. I would not have guessed that, to be honest. But that totally doubles down on the theory of Green Bay being a badass place to watch sports and drink and have a good time. So, again, another reason why we need to link up when I go there. I'm actually really serious about that too. I'm really trying to go down to Green Bay and watch a game there. Didn't work out this year because of like flights and everything, and ended up being kind of a tax price wise. But I'm hoping it works out. And if I go down there, bro, you better meet up. You better link up. Let's watch a game. Let's drink. Let's have a good time. Maybe get some cheese. Of course, we get some cheese. Ronald, I guess you have never been to Wildwood, New Jersey, Spencer. Look up the top 10 drunkest cities in the US. We have like 8 of them. That's so hype, dude. That's so hype. Sincere Misery, baby, baby, baby. Gotta love the babies. Spencer Cern, all Wisconsin does is drink, farm, and watch sports. What is like like when you think of like what's high school sports like? Like what's high school ball like? What is it like growing up like in high school down there? Like, is it is it almost like you play sports, you go to college, or is it like the farm, like you're saying? Like, what are the avenues there? What are the avenues? Because here it's like in the DMV, I feel like there's like so many different things you do, and everybody kind of stays like in the DMV or they go to New York. But I feel like in Wisconsin, kind of where that is, like it's definitely Midwest or staying local. Ryan May, who are your top players for this upcoming draft? A lot on the line. Evan Neal, um, definitely is one of my favorites. Icky, the tackle from NC State. I love Jameson Williams before he got hurt. Um, I'll just give you a couple guys like at each position. On the defensive interior, I love Davis from Georgia. I think he's going to be a wrecker on the D line. But I also like Wyatt a lot from Georgia too. Um, and then on the linebacker side of the equation, I like Nakobe Dean more, but Devin Lloyd is a badass too out of Utah. I think they're both going to go in the first round. Definitely 2 first round linebackers, but there's a chance just because the O line is so deep and the secondary is so deep, maybe a linebacker falls out, and somebody gets one of these dudes in the second round as a steal. Holy shit, that would be amazing. But secondary is my favorite position in this draft, and it's a kind of my favorite position to scout also. So that's like I'm super hyped to get to know these prospects more over the next couple months. But Ahmad Zaris Gardner out of Cincinnati is definitely my favorite prospect, probably in the draft. One of the better man cover corners I've seen in a while come out of college, matched up on just about anyone. He could play man or zone, honestly. And then you got, Rob McCreary, from Auburn, who I listened to a podcast actually of Mccreary from Auburn, dude. This guy's hilarious, man. I guess his pre-workout is like he eats like bowls of baked beans the night before. He's like very serious about his baked beans. But this dude's a gritty, like just dirty, like in your mouth type of corner. Who's gonna play some super physical defense. But yeah, well, I'm gonna go on a tangent, so I'll leave it there. um, let's see here. In Philly, we could not care less about high school and football. When I grew up in the city, the bottom half of the state has all the population. Up north is about as country as possible. I wish they had high school football where I live in Canada. They don't have high school football, man. That's wild. What is, dude, Ryan? Let us know what Canada's like. I almost went up there for, let's see, what was that for? It was for an event. I think it was for like, shoot, it was like a couple months ago. So whatever holiday it was a couple months ago, not Christmas, not Christmas. I almost went up to Toronto and then was trying to go like snowboard too at the same time. We ended up not doing it, but I really want to get to Canada too. I've never been. And as Spencer says, Canada equals Wisconsin with maple syrup. That sounds like a badass time to me. That sounds sick. If I can get some maple syrup and some cheese at one time, I mean, that's amazing. There used to be these like high school snowboarding trips when I was like growing up where they would like gather all these kids and just like send them on a bus to Canada and they would just drink and snowboard. And it just sounded like the coolest thing ever. And I was always so lame and never went because I was like too scared to spend any money. That was like one of the biggest regrets of my life, guys. So just thought I'd let you know that. Let's see here. Spencer, our family makes syrup on our land up north. Dude, what the hell? Is this like a real thing, bro? You actually like your family is like in the syrup business? That's amazing. That's actually so sick, dude. That's much cooler than like what anything my family has done. Shout out my family, but I mean, we don't make syrup. That's amazing. Spencer, I went to Nina, which was D1 in Wisconsin. They were good at every sport for the most part. Football is more important than basketball in the state. That's cool. Ronald, we're not even that into college football, much more of a college basketball city. Dude, yeah, you guys do have some college basketball out there. Do you guys like March Madness? Do you guys like March Madness? Are you guys into that? Um, that's gonna be an interesting time for me. I always get pretty deep in the March Madness grind. And I'm always terrible at betting it. Let's see here. Well, not business. We just make it for ourselves and family friends. Oh, that's cool. Dude, if maybe we can do an exchange during the next fantasy season where like you send me some homemade maple syrup and I exchange you a draft pick instead of you just robbing me blind for a draft pick like you did last season. That's what we'll do. I'll be watching the first round of March Madness in Vegas. Dude, that's crazy, man. Oh my gosh. I used to have this coworker who like would go out to Vegas like 4 times a year. I'm pretty sure the guy's like bankrupt now. But he was like an older guy too. This guy was like real going off the rocker, real degen. Um, go to Vegas like all the time. And he'd always go for March Madness too. And I feel like it's like the sickest time to be up there. I feel like it's dope. Um, Ronald, Temple, LaSalle, Villanova. Dude, Villanova is so cool to me. I had a buddy who went there, and it just seems like a really nice school. Seems very expensive though. Temple, shout out Temple too. They've had some good programs. Ronald, you can describe exactly what collusion is. You just described exactly what collusion is. Hey man, act like you didn't hear that, Ronald. Act like you didn't hear that. Well, I'll still end up bottom of the fantasy league still. Ryan, I live in the smallest place in Canada. PIE, our country's leaders, an absolute dingus, but I'm sure you guys would say the same. I've never been to the US, unfortunately. Oh, wow, man. Well, maybe we can do like an exchange program. I can go up there and you can come down here and we can rock out that way. US pretty cool. We got some cool spots. Check out, Philly. Check out New Jersey. Check out, Wisconsin. DMV, if you like, monuments and history and stuff, that's pretty cool, I guess. But what's up, Andrea? And I'm gonna also pivot to some football here. I've been going on a rant about just you guys in general, which I want to continue doing. I'm gonna talk a little bit about football too for some guys coming in and out. The next game I wanted to talk about is that Rams game against the Bucks, Tom Brady, honestly, kind of scared me a little bit. I'm wearing his jersey right now. Tom Brady grew up like my nemesis, honestly, but I think Tom Brady might actually hang it up, or Tom Brady might be at least considering taking a step away from the game for a year. Um, he just said some things that were a little off to me. Uh, Team doesn't deserve anything less than my best. And if I feel like I can't commit to that or I can't play at a championship level, then you got to give someone else a chance to play. He talked a lot about how his kids and his wife deserve more from him. And he looked kind of off the whole game. Looked kind of like I don't know if he was 100% in it. Um, Not like in it. Like obviously he was given 100%, but his demeanor and everything just looked a little bit off. What a way to go out if Tom was to go out that way. I mean, obviously the GOAT, but that comeback would have been absolutely ridiculous. Was a cool game, man. It was mad fun. I remember I texted my mom actually and was like, because she hates Tom Brady with a passion. And I was like, all right, you got your wish. He's out of the playoffs. And that was when they were down by like 20 points. And then like boom, touchdown. And I was like, don't worry about it. And it was like, boom, turnover, touchdown. And I was like, all right, you're good. There's not enough time. And then it was like, boom, turnover, touchdown. And I was just like, holy shit. And then Cam Akers fumbles it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like literally rigged. Like, how does this happen? How does this happen? How every year does Tom Brady do this? And uh, unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. Cooper Kupp had an insane pass. I don't know what the Bucks were thinking. You don't blitz on a guy like Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford. I want to give mad credit to Matt Stafford. I was kind of talking shit about him in a lot of our streams. I feel like towards the end of the season, maybe well deserved. I mean, he had a really bad ending to the season, but he has looked amazing in the playoffs. He's looked like a new quarterback. He's looked like healthy. He's looked just absolutely dominant right now. And I think a lot of that actually, has a lot to do with Matt Stafford, obviously. I think he's a great quarterback, but has a lot to do with Sean McVay, too. I think Sean McVay is doing what is needed. He's opening up this offense a little bit more, allowing OBJ to come into it, relying on the ground game a little bit more. Cam Akers really almost lost the game for him, but Stafford is not turning the ball over as much, and this O line of the Rams is, I think, really starting to hit its stride too, which is resulting in A-Rod not, in Stafford not being banged up as much. So yeah, who knows? But I will say this: the 49ers are going to be a tough matchup. That's going to be for sure. We'll see how they line up well against them. Um, and then the last game I want to talk about of last week before we get into the previews is that Chiefs Bills game, best game I've seen in some time. Andrea saying no one can't stop talking right now. I live in Buffalo, talking about 13 seconds. I really thought it was the Bills this year. Ronald, I know you thought it was the Bills this year. I did too, honestly, the way they were playing. I think a couple of things that really come out to mind there is that, you think about the Bills franchise history as always being right there at the end and never really capping it off, right? They had those, it was like 3+ Super Bowls against the Cowboys or whatever that they lost and could never close. And then obviously the Bills last year, they come up short, had a dominant team. Everybody thought maybe they could make a push. This year, I mean, they were a favorite. They were a darling of a lot of like owners of fantasy teams and also just a darling of like NFL fans because they were a team to be reckoned with. Josh Allen didn't disappoint. This team didn't disappoint. It just so happens you run into the Grim Reaper, man. You run into Patrick Mahomes, dog. I mean, Mahomes is a badass, bro. He's an animal. And I saw that Kelsey and Mahomes improv that last play. I don't know if you guys saw that they improved it. I mean, Kelsey went up to him and basically said, that he wasn't going to run whatever was called. He was going to do his own thing and find the open zone. And fucking Mahomes just said, go do it. Go do it. I'm going to hit you. And I think for all those people out there that, and I mean, me included, like I do kind of comp Allen. I comp Allen and Mahomes very similar. I mean, this is the new Brady Manning of this generation, man. But these guys are very similar quarterbacks, and what they do for their teams is really unprecedented. We haven't seen something like this ever the usage rate these guys see. I mean, I was just talking about like how the Cards need to kind of let off the gas a little bit with Kyler Murray. He's not one of these guys, right? They can't be using him like Mahomes and Allen are used. But I mean, it's fantastic. But the thing about Mahomes is like his ability to make every play a playground, like this improv that they did. I mean, it adds a different dynamic, I think, to the game. Like there's no punting it on 4th and 3, 4th and 1, like the Bills did. I mean, you can't make calls like that. If you're the quarterback, you can't let that happen. And I think right now, Mahomes has a little bit of swagger enough to say, like, yeah, we're not punting the ball. Like, get the hell off the field. And that's why, I mean, Mahomes to me, I mean, in terms of fantasy, it's one thing, right? Like, I still don't have him as my QB1 next year. But in terms of quarterback, like, I don't see how he isn't the QB1 when you're looking at this guy. Despite his kind of on and off year, if you're building a team around a quarterback, there was a poll put up recently is like Allen or Mahomes. And like Ronald, I don't know who you would take here. I don't know, everybody in the chat, let me know what you would do here. But I mean, this is a close question. And I mean, two similar guys, but for me, I'm still taking Mahomes. I think he is that X factor right now. See, Ronald, you're taking Allen. And I don't hate that at all. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how many more times these guys play in the playoffs. I think it's gonna work out that they're gonna be playing for a long time, man. Jeez, dude. I mean, these guys are just another type of dominance. And also, shout out Gabriel Davis, yo, a sleeper, a waiver wire pickup in fantasy towards the back half of the season. 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like, what the hell, bro? Gabe Davis went off, bro. Gabe Davis went off. Let's see, Ronald, you got Allen 1, Mahomes 2. I like that. I would actually be curious to see, Ronald, where do you have yeah, I would be curious to see this. And I'll give you my rankings too. Spencer, you as well. Anybody in the chat, guys, let me know what your top 4 quarterback rankings are for the next 3 years. I have Mahomes at 1, Allen at 2, and then I think you have to put Rodgers at 3, and if Brady's gone, I think that's where it starts to get murky. I feel like that's where a guy like Justin Herbert could kind of jump into the pictures, being a top 4, top 5 quarterback. Joe Burrow, obviously in the mix too. I think that offense opens it up a little bit as well. So yeah, Ronald right there, Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think that you could definitely make an argument for Kyler being in the mix too, but I just don't think he's got the it factor, right? I think those 4 are kind of the guys. So Ryan, I see you jumping in there saying, Kyler Murray, you're throwing him in there, keeping out a guy like Joe Burrow. I don't hate that. And then Andrea, I wait on Allen. We are losing coaches, but Diggs disappears. Yeah, Diggs does kind of disappear. Fantasy-wise, it's gonna be interesting to see where he actually goes next year. I think he's gonna slip. Spencer, wow. I mean, Lamar, really interesting, interesting, interesting. Give me the case for Lamar here. Ronald, I mean, I respect Lamar, Kyler, Dak, but I think they're second tier now. Yeah, and speaking of Dak Prescott, I was gonna kind of put this towards the end of the episode tonight, but Dak, the most overrated quarterback ever. I think Prey would have to agree with you. Spencer, Lamar is dog show wide receiver. So 2 relevant storylines before we get into the preview of the conference championship games. Antonio Brown, right? Speculation everywhere. He's basically tweeting with Lamar Jackson in hand that he'll be a Raven next year. And obviously, Lamar that Antonio and Hollywood are related cousins, I believe. In the past, when AB's kind of been in and out of teams, which seems like every damn week now he's with a new team. They practice together. I know Lamar and him are boys. Not really sure that Harbaugh is going to be on page for that, and I don't even know if we can make this hypothetical of saying in a perfect setting, what does a Antonio Brown do for your team? Because he's been a loose cannon and a wild card for your team for a while now. but Antonio Brown, Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman, and Sammy Watkins, and a new healthy offense for the Ravens, I think that puts the Ravens in a place where they could win a lot of ball games. I think the North is very takeable for them in that I think the Ravens are probably going to take the North regardless, but it would be really fun to see AB there, but I think he'd have a hard time with the fact that Lamar is not going to feed him the way he wants to be fed. With that said, though, maybe you can make the case that he would, right? I mean, we saw Hollywood Brown shit. When we were reviewing the stat lines and the projections on Hollywood Brown, the dude saw like 11 to 15 targets a game. He was almost used as a Deontay Johnson, just more explosive and less productive. But imagine if, 8 to 10 targets were going to AB every game. I mean, they could get pretty crazy type of stat lines we'd see there for Lamar going up. Ronald, they won't keep Watkins. Lamar lost a lot of help this year with RBs, legit unproven talent. They need a guy to help take pressure off his running game. Yeah, I agree. I mean, injuries were galore. I mean, I talked about it a little bit when kind of mocking out some of the needs of this Ravens team next year. I mean, I think they could get better at the O line. Obviously, you can help out the secondary and the defense, but when you look at this team, I mean, the injuries were everywhere. This team is going to be healthier next year. This team is going to be right back in the place to make another push. And I don't even know if they're in a need for any position. I think they get a healthy J.K. Dobbins back, healthy Gus Edwards back. Who knows who else they might have stepping up? I mean, they had a ton of running backs play for him this year. O line will get healthier. I think they will invest a little bit in the O line. Man, I think another receiver is for sure in the cards. I mean, there's a lot of receiver free agents. Chris Godwin, I think, might test the market too. Uh, so I think there'll be players, right? I think there'll be players. Juju Smith-Schuster, he'll be out there too. So I think they're going to want to go after a guy. And I think maybe Harbaugh gives AB a contract and says, you know what, you can come play for us. Nothing's guaranteed. You got to prove yourself. And also, just speaking of AB, I saw an interview. He's with his attorney on like Brian Gumbel show or something. And I was like, dude, how does Brian Gumbel have a show? First off, the dude's been around forever. But they're doing an interview and he's got his attorney with him. And the attorney's just like, this dude is just like, yeah, man, I'm AB's attorney, make tons of money. And AB's just smiling and looking all happy and shit. And I guess they're maybe gonna sue the Bucks for something where they were going to pay him to put him in a hospital, mental hospital. Brutal situation there. And I don't think AB's really taking the reins off of the Bucks anytime soon. Spencer, if they get Ridley, they set. Ridley's an interesting one, dead ass. He's a lot older than I thought about. I was hearing something recently. Dude's like 28 years old, right? And a lot of people are talking about trades for him. I know the Jets are considering trading one of their top like 10 picks for him. And it's like, I don't think you do that. Like, I don't think you trade like a top 10 pick. I don't think you trade like maybe a top 20 pick. I think you can make an argument for like not trading like a top 15, 20 draft pick for a guy like Calvin Ridley, unless you're like really in a position to win right now. And I mean, I guess some people are making the argument that in the division, the Jets fans are like, yo, we should go after Calvin Ridley and do kind of what the Bills did with Stephon Diggs. And I think Stephon Diggs is a decent comp. DeAndre Hopkins is a decent comp, but you got to have a lot in place if you're going to go invest in a receiver who hasn't even played a year. Like he hasn't played for a year now, right? And Ronald, please let the Eagles trade a first rounder for him. That's the one. Okay, so that's the one team, right, that I'm talking about in this draft that it makes a lot of sense to do it, right? Because you have two other first round picks that you can go out, invest in the O line, invest in the defense, whether it's on the edge rush, defensive interior, secondary, linebacker. There's a lot of needs back there, the defense, right? Get some help on the offensive line as well. But dude, you can use a first round there instead of taking more shots at the receiver position, which you guys have struggled with for so long. And I heard an analogy of like kind of similar to what the Lions used to do, where they would just keep throwing shots at the board at the receiver position. And Kind of the Eagles have done the same thing, but I do think that would be a better alternative is like investing in Calvin Ridley via, a first round draft pick. And I think the Falcons are going to be looking to move on sooner than later from him because he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. Um, yeah. And the other headline I want to talk about, we can talk about yet. Sean Payton, man. Sean Payton. He went on, he had a shit, that thing might still be going. His conference is like 2 hours long when I was checking, right? Dude just talking about literally anything. He's like, yeah, I had a ham sandwich today, some mustard, some cheese. I guess I won't be coaching anymore. But who knows? I might come back. Like, dude, Sean Payton, I don't know what's going on with him. To me, I see Spencer saying Sean Payton to the Cowboys. Uh, yeah, that I mean, obviously that's getting rumored, and I'll talk about that in a second. Peyton was like, "Fuck doing this without Breeze. Bye bye, Big Mike." Dude, Big Mike McCarthy needs to get out of Dallas, right? ASAP. if you're a Cowboys fan, get Mike McCarthy out of there. The guy's not a coach. Um, I'm gonna say that I think what the Saints have been doing with the salary cap for a really long time now, levering it up, uh, spending money willy nilly. Uh, what they've been doing, operating almost like a hedge fund over the past 5 or so years to really lever up for a win now situation has put them in a really bad, tight spot where now they're at a spot where they don't even have a quarterback. They got some really bad contracts. And Sean Payton's like, this is also a situation where I don't have Drew Brees anymore. Exactly. Spencer, negative 70 million in cap room. Like, these guys are held hostage right now. I don't think Sean Payton wants to retire from football. In fact, his comments he made very opposite. Is he wants to continue coaching ball. I just don't think he wants to coach for the New Orleans Saints anymore. And he's a god in New Orleans. I mean, he's a god for the Saints. Probably one of the most famous people that's going to go down in Saints history. What he did for that organization, especially during Katrina and everything. I mean, it's nuts, but yeah, I mean, Ronald says it would be like a Ponzi scheme more than a hedge fund. I gotcha. Well, hey, maybe they're the same thing, right? But no, I mean, yeah, well, I think when you're looking at when some of those guys that are in the internals leave and there's not like it's kind of out of the blue, kind of like this was. I mean, this was pretty out of the blue. I feel like there's kind of some backdoor stuff that's going on and backdoor stuff that's known about, right? Drew Brees left at the right time too. I think Sean Payton walks away for a year and comes back to coach for another team. Um, Spencer talked about the Cowboys, which are obviously the very hot speculated team right now. But I would say that you got to look at these two type of personalities. Sean Payton is a authoritarian. He likes to get his hands on things. He's very involved. He has been very involved his entire career with the Saints. I mean, definitely over the past decade. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback coach. Um, he's been in and out of kind of the personnel. Now you're going to now you're going to the Cowboys with Jerry Jones, who is going to have his hands on everything, and there's a reason the Cowboys have been, signing shitty coaches, right? Jason Garrett, pushover, lack of a better term, no backbone coach. Mike McCarthy, definition of a no backbone coach. And these guys will let Jerry Jones do whatever he wants to do. Let him sign whoever, let him go after whoever. Jerry Jones runs the team, right? I don't think Sean Payton is a good pair for that. I don't think Sean Payton is a good mesh for that. And Jerry's going to know that he's going to have to delegate something to Sean. They're going to have to form some sort of bond there, relationship there. And I think that's something that is going to be harder said than done, but it would be good. It would be really cool. It would be really cool. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be interested to see where he would go. And if he does go to Dallas, I think that's a Super Bowl winning team because the personnel has never been the issue. It's always been, I think, front office, organizational level, coach level. Um, for the hypothetical of it, it'd be fun. I pulled up an article, top coaching jobs available in case he does go coach right now, right? I got the Raiders up there. We'll see if they bring back their guy. I don't love that fit, but I do think the Raiders are a pretty interesting organization in terms of that rebuild. Broncos, I think that's kind of the, top spot a lot of people are going at. Jaguars, don't think Sean Payton be interested there. Dolphins, too much of a rebuild. His own teammates have come out kind of talking shit about him. Chicago Bears could be a good turnaround. Justin Fields kind of showed some promise, but I don't think too much of a move there. Minnesota Vikings. I love this opportunity to go in there to the Minnesota Vikings, not only for Sean Payton, but just for any coach. I mean, this has got good defensive chip players. I mean, they got some blue chip players on the defense, and then the offense is loaded. New York Giants. This is a dog shit disaster fire. Sorry for any Giants fans in the chat. Um, Number 8, New Orleans Saints. So that obviously doesn't apply to Sean Payton, but for other coaches out there, it's a pretty cool one. Um, Definitely going to be a rebuilding situation though for some time. And then the biggest rebuild of all time, Houston Texans. That'll be, I think, one that is also going to take a while. Maybe our lifetime, maybe our lifetime, but I think they'll probably hire another coach that'll get fired before they end up doing anything. But yeah, Jerry and Dan Snyder have been making the Eagles' lives easier for years. The Bears will always suck. Yeah. Let me just say that Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder, I think, have been the most hated owners for like the past like 20 years. Ever since Jerry Jones was winning, which was a long time. Dan Snyder hated for a lot of other reasons, but these dudes, too much ownership control can cause issues. Any good manager knows how to delegate, and I don't think these guys know how to delegate. Bears suck, Steven, get real. Dude, the Bears do suck, but like, dude, also, first off, it's been a long time since I've heard about Khalil Mack in the sense of like, wow, this guy's a wrecker, right? Khalil Mack hasn't really been that guy in a while. Remember when John Gruden traded him? That was interesting. That's like kind of the last. And he had a year or two that he was pretty good in Chicago after that, but pretty weird. Khalil Mack still in the Bears. Be interested to see what happens to him. Maybe I'll trade for him in Madden. Maybe that'll be what I do. But let's get into it, guys. Let's get into that conference championship preview. Been dancing around it all night long. Let's get into it. Let's get into the first one. That Cincinnati Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs matchup. Give me your guys' predictions. Give me your guys' thoughts. Give me your guys' input in the chat. I want to hear it. I want to know it. Cincinnati Bengals right now are not favored at all. They're going to get their ass kicked, apparently, according to Vegas. Chiefs are 7-point favorites, 54-point over under, the highest of the two games on this week's slate. Look, last time they played, Bengals won. Jamar Chase went crazy. For fantasy owners, I think he had 50 points. He just went absolutely bonkers. I think Joe Burrow had like 5 touchdowns. Probably the coolest game ever during that regular season stint where Joe Burrow just lit it up. It was weird, right? The Chiefs started off like kind of lighting them up, getting out ahead of them, and Joe Burrow stormed back at the end of that game. And I just don't see that happening here. I got the Chiefs here for sure. I don't think 7 points is fair. I don't think 7 points is fair. I think the Bengals deserve a better spread than that. I think what they've done this season should prove to Vegas that this is a team that A is there to win. They're not just there to make the playoffs. They're not just there to win a game. Like they're there to win the Super Bowl, man. And B, the reason I like this, bro, is because when you look at this Joe Burrow led offense, it's going to be very hard to step on the throat of this team. And the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Grim Reaper himself, Patrick Mahomes, are the best team at putting their hold on. We have got it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Lily and John are in the chat, guys. Give my boy John Give my boy John and Lily a big hand of applause. Congratulations. Thank you, John, for jumping in tonight. Thank you for jumping in tonight. Love you, man. Hope all is well. FaceTime later tonight if possible. Appreciate you jumping in here tonight. We're just doing a little conference championship preview. Lily was born, man. I'm not gonna step on that too much. I'm gonna step off, but man, glad to have her in here today. She could listen to her Godfather weirdo Steven. I always love being called the Godfather. It's my favorite movies of all time. And my thrift shop gaming, yeah. Man, yeah, love you, John. Thanks for jumping in. John, who do you and Lily have today? You got the Chiefs or the Bengals, and you got the 49ers or the Rams. Who do you got in those games? Who do you guys got? Um, but yeah, man, I like the Chiefs, but I think the Bengals deserve more respect. And I think it's gonna be a good one, and I think it's gonna set the tone for this Bengals team in the future. Which I mean, holy crap, this Bengals team is a force to be reckoned with for a while. I mean, I think like Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, Burrow, Mixon, they're all like under 25. I mean, this is the best under 25 team in the game right now. They're going to be around for a long time. Very excited to watch them play. Talk about it a little bit earlier how they need to protect their guy Andrew, or not Andrew Luck. They need to protect their guy Joe Burrow so he doesn't become Andrew Luck. What's up, Steven? What's up, Bray? Dude, I was just talking about you earlier. We were talking shit about the Cowboys, talking shit about Dak Prescott. And I was like, I know who'd be talking shit about Dak Prescott right now. My boy Bray. So, yeah, if you want to talk shit about Dak Prescott, let us know. John, congratulations. Yes, congrats. John's in here saying, think the Bengals have a real chance, but I'll get Chiefs. Yeah, they do. They do. They definitely have a chance for sure. I mean, it'd be silly. I'll be honest with you guys. I get a little weird. Sometimes I get these adrenaline kicks. Adrenaline, right? I get these adrenaline kicks where I think about making some pretty stupid bets, right? It's pretty dangerous, right? Pretty dangerous financially. But I thought about, I mean, crypto has been getting tanked, right? Thought about just taking it all out and putting it on the Chiefs. I mean, the money is not great. I mean, they're like negative 340, so wouldn't even be that good. But I don't know. I do stupid shit like that, and if anything, if I would do that with that much confidence, that probably means you should bet the Bengals because last time I did that, the Packers lost to the Bucks in the championship. I got Chiefs on tops. Playoff Mahomes is insane. Dude, Mahomes is another kind of animal. I mean, you look at this guy's last 4 years in the playoffs and his success he's had, and I don't really put any blame of I don't put blame, if any at all, from that Super Bowl loss to the Bucks on him. I thought that was a game where his offensive line was decimated, the receivers were terrible, and the Bucks, it was just their year. So I think Mahomes, absolutely one of the best. Um, Rams May, Ryan May, my bad. Rams Chiefs, Rams Super Bowl champs. It does seem like it is Sean McVay's year with Matt Stafford. I mean, we kind of talked about it in the preseason that they've kind of got all the pieces in play, and since then they got even better. And I mean, you look at this Rams team; they are like a Madden juggernaut team. Thrift Shop Gaming, I'm in on Rams, but think 49ers deserve a lot of respect, as does Kyle as head coach. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan has proved to everybody that started hating on Kyle Shanahan that he's the real deal. He is well deserving of all the respect he got for a majority of his career. Also, to that too, man, um, bro. For everybody in the chat, like, what do we think of Jimmy G? Is Jimmy G a winner? Man, I don't think that has any question mark to it. The guy's a winner. But what is he as a quarterback? What is he as a player? Obviously, if you're a team that already has a quarterback, I don't think you would have this answer. But for a team like the Colts or a team like I don't know. Of course, I'm fumbling for teams right now. Maybe the Lions, or I don't know, a team that needs a quarterback, right? Is Jimmy G like the perfect situation, like a winner, a quarterback with a good culture throughout his entire career? a guy that has been a good locker room guy his entire career, like, or am I just overreacting in the moment, right? But we have seen this guy now bring a team to 2 conference championships, might go to the Super Bowl twice. Should have maybe won that Super Bowl against the Chiefs the first time if a penalty went the other way. Um, was a winner in New England when he was there. Um, really the only reason Kyle Shanahan never wins because the records without Jimmy Garoppolo are much more devastating. I mean, I think Jimmy Garoppolo deserves a little bit of respect. That's all I gotta say. All I gotta say. I think he's gonna get a job because the resume he's putting himself together right now is gonna shape up the 49ers for a great trade package. Dak equals doo-doo. Yeah. He does equal doo-doo when it comes down to it. Shane? Chiefs. Yeah, I like the Chiefs too. I like the Chiefs too. I'm curious if Spencer. I think Chase and Higgins are going to shred the Chiefs. Yeah, man, and I mean, I think Honey Badger's gonna be back. I think they lost somebody else in the secondary too. I think everybody's gonna be back for Kansas City. I'll have to monitor that throughout the week, but um, these receivers, the offense wasn't like lightning against this Tennessee team because they were able to get so much pass rush on on the Bengals. So I think the big key in that game against Kansas City is to find a way to protect Joe Burrow more. Because I think if they can do that, they've got a real chance at hanging in there. Pray, I'm curious if the quarterback draw play was called by Dak or the offensive coordinator. Yeah, because it wasn't Mike McCarthy, the head coach. He didn't do it. He wasn't involved in anything because he's not a coach. He's just a puppet. But yeah, that was horrible. That was horrible. So pray, great read there. Great bringing that in. It's in the blood. Whoever wins the AFC Championship is going to win the Super Bowl. Um, I like that take. And it also brings up a finer point of like you look at this AFC kind of quarterback complex that we got going on here. And if I leave anybody out, let me know. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Allen, Mahomes. So that's just 4 right there, right? That's just 4. Um, you got Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, who there's a lot of rumors could be going to AFC teams. Like this AFC conference could be dominant for years to come because the quarterback position, I mean, the leaps and bounds. I mean, honestly, you look at those guys that I just mentioned, the Burrow, the Herbert, the Allen, the Mahomes, and you watch those guys play and you watch those teams play off of these guys. And if you don't have a dude who's at that level, you've got to really wonder if you've got a shot. Right. And so my point is like, who's the NFC, right, in the future? Who in the NFC is going to be able to bring it? Who's going to be able to bring it if Aaron Rodgers does leave, if Tom Brady does retire? It's going to be interesting. Next season is going to be wild. I kind of agree. I do think the AFC is going to have a pretty good chance of winning this year. 49ers best team this year, easy. Damn, Prey coming out here. What's up? That's interesting. That's a bold take right there. I like that. Um, Tell you what, they had like 4 dudes on their defense this last week who had like 90 PFF grade performances. I mean, they played amazing. I think it was Ronald talking about earlier how they were at Rodgers' neck all game long, bro. I don't think that's going to change ever. Um, would love to see the Rams take it. Yeah, dude. The only reason why I really love the Rams too is because I love Sean McVay. I love seeing Sean McVay get hyped, dancing around, running around on the sideline, running into the end zone, getting pumped up with his team. Sean McVay's a real kid. He's a kid at heart, man. I saw he threw out a quote either today or yesterday. He was like, "When the Rams signed me, I was 30 years old." He was like, "They're crazy for doing that." This dude was 30, bro. He was 30. Like I'm like right there neck and neck with him and the genius this guy has. And also just a little shout out to the shittiness of the Washington football team. Pretty sure that at one point the Washington football team had on their coaching staff Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, and shit, there was somebody else too. Um, but those 3 guys alone are sick, and we let them all go. We let them all go. So, pretty terrible, when you think about Washington. But hey, good luck for the rest of the NFC who got 'em. Let's see here. I saw he would be great on the Colts. He is a guy that doesn't F up. Yeah, yeah, dude, I was saying this dude, like, literally, that's a guy that I think could bring us to the Super Bowl, and it's not gonna cost us as much as, like, I think some of the shit that we might do in the offseason, right? Jimmy G is a guy who would have not made the boneheaded plays that you're kind of inferring to, like the stupid passes, the fumbles, the sacks. Jimmy G, when healthy, is going to make the right calls. He's going to check it down. He's going to hand it off to Jonathan Taylor. That's what Jimmy G does. He has a good grasp of the game, right? And Frank Reich's an excellent offensive coordinator, excellent quarterback coach. So I don't even think it's that much of a downgrade going and leaving Kyle Shanahan, who's the quarterback whisperer. It's in the blood. I'm an AFC fan, but Jimmy G has been elite, but not great at the same time. But either way, finds a way to win. So he gets a lot of disrespect for continuing to win. And that's kind of my point, right? Because like Tom Brady, known not necessarily for his numbers. I mean, over time, yes, he got the numbers, but he was a winner. Bill Belichick recognized Jimmy Garoppolo as a winner, and obviously, I think he did it a little too early, but I mean, wanted to move on from Brady for Garoppolo because I think he recognized Garoppolo's a winner. He's got that it factor. He's got that non-selfish factor, and he's got the good looks too. He's got the good looks. Jimmy G, Q, Jimmy G, Q. Didn't New England offer to trade Tom Brady for Jimmy G a while back, and the 49ers declined it? I don't think it was necessarily like a trade. But I think what they were basically doing was, like, it was gonna be basically, like, letting Brady walk and then, like, just going to get Jimmy G. Like, they wanted Jimmy G. Bill Belichick wanted Jimmy G. Um, and honestly, I think it kinda worked out perfect for all parties. I think Kyle Shanahan got Jimmy Garoppolo. In San Fran, and that worked out perfectly for him. Bill Belichick gets Mac Jones, and Tom Brady gets Tampa in a Super Bowl. So I think it worked out for everybody. But it would have also been kind of cool to see the Bucks and the 49ers match up in the NFC Conference Championship just for that Jimmy G Tom Brady storyline there. Jimmy is quality, not elite at all, not even close. I will take Andy to outcoach them. Yeah, I love Andy Reid as a coach. Love Andy Reid as a coach. I'd put him in number 2 right behind Bill Belichick. So yeah, I love him. 2 right now, meaning, yeah, I got Bill Walsh above Andy Reid all time though. But I'd say Jimmy G is quality though. Quality, not elite, but that means something, right? That can definitely win you ball games. Which at the end of the day, sometimes that is all you need to do at the quarterback position is not make mistakes, and that'll in turn win games. And I think that's what the 49ers did this year was they had a quarterback who didn't create a ton of turnovers. Carson Wentz is the perfect polar opposite of that. It's in the blood. I can't wait for this offseason madness we're going to see. Dude, I think this is like here to hang around too. It's going to be here for a while. Like, I think offseason madness is going to continue to happen where it's like craziness every year because quarterbacks are having more and more independency and free agents and player, value. It's going to be fun for a while. It's going to be fun for a while. Howie Roseman started with the Eagles at 25 and became a GM at 35. The new Vikings GM is only 40. That's actually pretty crazy, dude. Like joining at 25, becoming GM by 35. Like you're a genius to do that. You're a genius to do that. And the new Vikings GM being 40. I mean, it does make sense to a certain extent. Like what we're seeing is that this new age of the youth movement, kind of the old philosophies being kicked out, which is good because there's a lot of old culture and play calling and all sorts of stuff that needs to kind of probably be rated from the game. And these new young guys really bring something hot, bring something new, bring something flaming. But when I look at a guy who kinda set the trailblaze for that, Sean McVay is one of them. Sean McVay is one of them. He certainly is, and I think that's why it's perfect to go to Sean McVay and take a quick look at this Rams 49ers game, which we've had most of you guys, I feel like, are on the Rams on this. There's a couple that I know are on the 49ers here. Um, right now, Rams are favored 3.5 points. So pretty tight, pretty tight. A lot tighter than that Chiefs Bengals game, obviously. 46.5 point over under. Right now, the 49ers are 6-0, I believe, against the Rams over the last 6 games. Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. Last 2 times they played, obviously, they lost to the 49ers. And for me personally, I'm actually slamming the table that I think it's going to be the Rams here. I think even as early as or even as recent as the last week of the playoffs or the regular season, the Rams are a very different team from then to now. Offensive line playing better, Matt Stafford playing better, OBJ playing better. Cooper Cup, I think, is going to be able to slice up the defense. This defense for the 49ers is very strong, but they are banged up a little bit. George Kittle looked hurt. Debo looked hurt. Jimmy G obviously has the hand injury. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was trying to lose that game to the Rams last time they played. So we'll see how this one matches up. Me personally, I'm gonna book down that I got the Chiefs and the Rams going to play in the Super Bowl. I think right now, if you were to go ahead and take, uh, who's going to win the Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs are like plus 125 to win the Super Bowl. So they're the favored odds guys right now as being the Super Bowl champions. And if you guys remember, because this whole week spelled the conversation of what's the best game of all time? What's the best playoff game of all time? And for me personally, this isn't a playoff game, but what I thought about was in college, the Rams Chiefs game where it was like 80 or 90 points was the total scorage between the two. And it was when Jared Goff was with the Rams, obviously. And it was like, I mean, does anybody remember this game? I mean, it was just like every drive was a touchdown. It's very early in Patrick Mahomes' kind of career. And it was the most fun game I've ever seen. It was the year the Chiefs went on to win Super Bowl, I think, actually. And it was just nuts. It was such a good time. And that was my favorite game recently because of firepower, points galore. Ronald, I think if San Francisco makes it to the Super Bowl in a rematch, I would not count them out. Dude, I really wish I put money on my Super Bowl prediction, the 49ers. I think the odds were like plus like a billion. Like they had no chance. It might have even gotten worse, the odds, as the season went on. But I think this San Francisco does have a chance to win the Super Bowl against any team because of coaching, because of their ability to limit turnovers, because of Debo Samuel, and because they limit big plays. I mean, they do limit these offenses that have a lot of firepower to having to drive the ball slowly and methodically up and down the field. I mean, stopping the Packers for what they have, like 13 points. I mean, that was the most recent testament to that effect, right? But I think the 49ers do have everything to win a Super Bowl, to win this game right here, right? But I think the thing with the Rams is the reason they lost that lead in that game was they kind of took the foot off the gas pedal. I think it was a great learning lesson. Like, don't take the foot off the gas. When you get up on these 49ers, bury them. Bury them, bury them, bury them. They had 2 fumbles. I don't see Cam Akers fumbling like that again. And if he does, they're going to hand it off to Sonny Michel or Daryl Henderson, right? I definitely think that this is a game where the Rams are going to come in even better, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Rams here, but I do like San Francisco as a team. And dude, I was already hearing speculation that maybe Tom Brady, steps away for a year, goes back to his hometown. Joe Montana, his childhood hero, ends his career in San Francisco. That'd be funny. That'd be fun. That would be fun. Um, you know, another thing kind of that I wanted to talk about is that this overtime shenanigans with the Bills Chiefs, most recently that, everyone's kind of, points to as well as being the other case of the fact that they need to change these OT rules was that Chiefs Patriots game where tons of fireworks, tons of offense, uh, really knew it was going to be the last team with the ball was going to win it. And the Patriots won. And that was kind of Patrick Mahomes tasting the medicine that he did here. I put a lot of respect on Josh Allen coming out and saying, like, I'm not going to blame the rules, right? Unlike Dak Prescott, who blamed the refs when they lost. Um, that's no surprise. Though. Josh Allen's a beast. Josh Allen is not only the exact kind of quarterback you want, talent wise, he's also leadership wise and just a person. But the rules need to be changed. They got to do something new there. They got to change it up a little bit. I don't think a complete shift to the college system makes sense, but I do think both teams deserve a chance to at least score, right? I think that's my biggest takeaway. I think that's my biggest takeaway from the playoffs outside of, these teams in general is that there are changes that need to be made to the current format of not only playoff overtime, but regular season game overtime too. Um, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but I know that they're already talking about it with the league regulators and everything. So we'll see if that goes down. But with that, guys, we're going to start winding down the stream. It's been a fun one. Coming out here tonight, hanging out, relaxing with you. We had some good talk about weren't football related, things that were football related, which is, always fun to do. Guys, definitely appreciate you all coming out to these live streams, hanging and chilling. Gonna be looking to do another one tomorrow, more than likely. I will let you guys know in the Discord what my thoughts are in terms of timing. More than likely, same time, 7 to 7:30 ish. But I'll drop a note in the Discord. Probably be college oriented, but we're also going to do a decent portion of that. It's just hang out, chill, talk sports, talk hanging, talk movies. Guys, I want to talk more movies with you guys too. I want to talk more movies and get to know you guys more as people. Jerry, what's up, man? What is up, Jerry? How are you doing? What a perfect way to jump in here. I'll stay in for a couple more minutes now that Jerry's in. Just give some shout out to my guy. By the way, guys, have you noticed I'm in a robe right now? A robe. That's right. I'm doing it in a robe. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about the robe action? But let me know, guys. I mean, I'm gonna drop a poll. I'm gonna drop a poll about. I'm not even gonna give a hint to it. Right? It's gonna be movie oriented though. Right? I'm gonna do it tonight. So definitely take a look at the poll when I drop it pretty soon. But also, just whenever we're in these live streams, we kind of did this earlier, but whenever we go random and start talking about different shit, I encourage that. Jerry, I wanted to ask questions, but I don't want to derail your train of thought. Dude, honestly, I encourage that, dude. I want that to happen. I want to do that more, especially like after, because like there's some content that I like kind of come in with and I like kind of know I want to talk about. And then like after that, it's just all just like us chilling, us talking. I feel like that's what you get for going and cutting your own hair. Dude, yeah, Jerry, bro. Jerry came out, was that before or after the haircut, dude? Doesn't it look like, like I just like kind of put it to myself and cut it? Bro, it's getting really wacky, dude. Real wacky. Looks like I used the scissors on him, bro. Not good. Not a good look. Haircutter did it wrong there. Shout out my haircutter though. Cut your own hair for 6 or 7 years now. That's pretty impressive. A lot better than mine. A lot better than mine. Mine's not good. Um, but you know, when I'm doing some of the college ones, because I know, we're, not everybody's on the college process. Still, definitely a little early too. But if there's any other content, just let me know. As always, what you guys want to see. Um, and I love movies. I know Ronald had the idea of doing like a sports book or sports movie, and we talk about it. It's definitely not out of the cards. I don't totally mind that if we can get, like, free movie access. I'm a little bit of a slow reader, so, um, I don't know. I don't know if I read very quickly. Yeah, Ronald, I don't read either. Yeah, I'm not a big reader. I did read, you guys are probably gonna clown me for this, but I used to read these books called The Warriors. It's about cats. It's a pretty badass book about cats. Definitely look it up. They're called Warriors. Um, Dope book, series. I just watched the first Harry Potter, actually. First Harry Potter, guys. I watched the first Harry Potter. I knew this might bring up some conversation. Um, watched the first Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and that was fun, man. After going to Universal, girlfriend said, "You need to watch Harry Potter. You need to do it so that you can not be such a poser." And I said, all right, I'll do it." And I loved it. Shout out Harry. Shout out Harry. Jerry, John told me to tell you he hasn't seen Once Upon a Time. Yeah, screw John. Screw John. Screw John for that. Love you, John. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is an amazing movie, man. Amazing movie. Brilliant acting. Directing is off the charts. Quentin Tarantino getting it done. It's like the best movie I've seen in a while, honestly. That's such a good movie, man. Such a good movie. Ronald, I mean, I can read, but I don't like to. But like, we could do movies like Rudy or and even Sunday or Varsity Blues or Friday Night Lights. I love that idea. I love that idea. I definitely think we could do that. Um, it might not, and we don't even have to necessarily make it like it doesn't even have to be like too intense, right? Just like a little pre-stream content. If you want to watch it and kind of get to update on it, we can have that. We can just kind of have that. We can have that in the queue. Oh wow, I thought that was by far the worst quarantine. Wow, you really did? Interesting, interesting, interesting. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I'm a big fan of the idea of LA, not necessarily LA, but the idea of LA. Also love Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie. So that was like perfect. That was sick. That was sick. What's your favorite QT film? What's your favorite QT film? Reservoir Dogs certainly up there for sure. Jerry, LA sucks. John's an airhead for not watching Spider-Man either. Wait, John hasn't watched Spider-Man? I feel like you would never tell me that. I feel like you just told him something in absolute secrecy. Because John like acts like he's the biggest Marvel. Now, John is a very big Marvel fan. Um, so I'm surprised he hasn't watched it. It's pretty crazy. Um, I'm a huge Pulp Fiction fan. Yeah, that's a wild movie. It's a wild movie. My girlfriend like hates that movie, and I feel like she's never really appreciated it. So I plan on like just subjecting her to Pulp Fiction for like 24 hours until she appreciates like the artistry of Pulp Fiction. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. Jerry, I was there earlier today. LOL, full of nothing but homeless people. John is a fake Marvel fan. Fake Marvel fan, John is. Fake Marvel fan. You guys should put that in the Discord chat. Jerry, post that in the Discord chat. Say John is a fake Marvel fan. See what he says. I guarantee you he'll respond. He saw the Eternals, but not Spider Man. LOL, I hate him. Oh my gosh. Did QT do Desperado with Antonio Banderas? Ronald, did he? I think he did. I think he did. I hate Antonio Banderas. I don't hate him. I don't hate him, but I don't love Antonio Banderas. Zorro, right? I think he was Zorro. I like Kill Bill's movies too, but R Dogs over them. Dude, Reservoir Dogs was amazing, bro. Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink. Mr. White. Oh my gosh, dude. I remember one of my buddies, he was a weirdo, but he assigned everybody names. I forget what I was. I think it was like Mr. Green or something. But we like didn't refer to each other as names for a long time because of that movie. We just did our code names. Mr. White, Mr. Blue, Mr. Pink. Such a good one. Yes, Zorro is Antonio. Okay, yeah, that's QT, right? Like from dusk till dawn. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Desperado, I don't know about. Quentin Tarantino is amazing though, man. I think he's supposed to be dropping a new one. I know Scorsese's doing a new movie too. Um, guys, if I know I already mentioned it, but Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio was a good movie. It's pretty fitting for today's society, I feel like. Um, it was funny. It was good. It was comical. I like Jonah Hill in it a lot. I love Jonah Hill. Superbad is definitely. I feel like just like to give you guys an insight into like some like my like kind of my comedy too. Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jonah Hill, um, those guys like Pineapple Express, like This Is the End. Like those are like my comedies, dude. Like those like whenever I'm like just like doing nothing, like I can put that movie on and just like laugh my ass off for like hours. Like that movie, like dude, like some of that shit is just nuts, dude. Andrea coming here, Matrix. How was Matrix 2? I heard mixed results, or not Matrix 2, the new Matrix. Forget which Matrix it's supposed to be. I think it's like 3. But I love me some John Wick. Forgetting the actor's name right now, but I heard mixed results on the new one, which isn't unexpected. Kind of out of the nowhere. It's kind of new, kind of you know. It's been a while since the OGs, right? I think they're making a new. I just saw this today. They're making a new Jurassic Park, which is interesting. Um, Not sure there's any big Jurassic Park fans here, but they've got a great ride at Universal. The Velocicoaster, that was badass. Great ride. We're on Matrix 4 now, but it was so bad. Yeah, dude, that's like one of those things where you like look up and you're like, holy shit, am I watching Scream 9? Is there another Scream coming out? Like when do you just get a new idea for a movie and stop making old, repeat movies? Get a new movie, guys. Come on. Horror movies are like easy too. I feel like The Catch could come up with a really good idea of a movie. Just like my big ass head on screen and like a bunch of people freaking out. That's not a bad one. Just a bunch of people getting scared of my big forehead. He did Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which is similar to Desperado. That's Wait, he did Once Upon a Time in Mexico and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Wasn't Once Upon a Time in Hollywood supposed to be like an homage to all his films? Like all his films low key tied in together somehow. He always does stuff like that. What's the other one? Hateful Eight. He did that one too. That was a good one. I have seen the new Matrix, not Scream, because Matrix is HBO Max. The beginning of Matrix 4 was the same beginning of the original Matrix. I couldn't get past it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big into, Matrix to start off with. I feel like now I would like 1 and 2 a little bit more just being older, because they are cool concepts. Am I a fan of the original Scream? Yeah, I did like them. I thought they were fun. I also liked the Scary Movie spoofs on them a lot more too. I thought those were good. I wasn't, like, insanely in love with them, you know? Like, I feel like Scream was, like, a good movie and a really cool concept, but I didn't see the new one, so I guess I should watch it. Jerry, you really like it? It's interesting. Yeah, like, our dog's one of those guys is Vince Vega. Vince Vega. Yeah, man, that's right. Yeah, Vince Vega. I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's another good one. It's another good one. Yeah, there's some really good ones out there. Man, Hereditary is another good scary movie. Damn, the new Scream is a lot like the original one, but different story. Courtney Cox doesn't make an appearance, does she? I doubt it. I doubt it. All right, guys. All right. Unfortunately, Jerry, I was really hoping you'd come in earlier. I get it, West Coast time, and all. You were hanging out with the homeless in LA, apparently. So I want to give you a little bit of a break, my guy. Yo, by the way, Super Bowl is in LA. You better drop some photo. You better go down to LA and take some photos of Super Bowl week and send pictures in the Discord. Send pictures. I want to know what Super Bowl week's like in LA. Sure, it'll be fun. Um, Also, speaking of heat, new Batman movie is 3 hours long. Dude, I cannot wait for the new Batman. Love Robert Pattinson. Guys, next stream. So I'm getting on tomorrow. About to get off here tonight, but getting on tomorrow. Let's talk some Batman. Let's talk some Batman. Let's talk about some other good movies. Let's have this chat tomorrow. hold your thoughts. Let's get into it. Be dropping a poll that's going to be movie/football oriented. And so definitely go and check that out. If you're watching this video retrospectively, you've probably heard a lot of non-football stuff talked about today, but that's what we do here at the Catch. We open it up to all sorts of chat, all sorts of discourse, discussion. Shout out John, shout out Lily, shout out John's wife Allison. Hope everybody's doing good over there. Love you guys. Love you guys. Can't wait until you guys are, back home and safe. And just love you guys. Love you guys at the Catch too, man. It was a pleasure hanging out today. It was lots of fun. Great conference championship preview, and great recap of divisional playoff round. Hopefully we get another exciting week, guys. Either way, we'll be back here next week too, but we got tomorrow as well. Let's get into it. Let's have fun tomorrow as well. Enjoy your guys' nights. Have some good food if you have not already. Peace out. It is Steven, the little weird guy with the big old head.